there. We are gonna make some easy, lazy, gluten-free sugar cookies today. Come on, I'll show you how I made these. So you need 6 tablespoons of softened butter, 3/4 cup of sugar, and mix it up. Alright, so as you're mixing, what you're doing is you are mixing, and this is why it's really important to have an electric mixer of some kind, whether that's a stand mixer or a handheld mixer. The sugar is going through cutting into the butter, which you can also use vegan butter or shortening, but it cuts into it and makes little pockets of air. So you really want to beat this until it's kind of fluffy, and that's really important for the finished texture of the cookies. Once you've creamed your butter and your sugar, it should be kind of fluffy-ish. Add an egg. You can also use egg substitute. My favorite is Bob's Red Mill's egg replacer. But you can also use an egg, you can use a flax egg, and then mix it. Alright, do you see how kind of creamy it is? That's what you want it to look like after you add the egg. Now we're gonna add in our baking soda, baking powder, salt, and xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is absolutely essential if you're making gluten-free cookies. If you aren't using a gluten-free flour blend if your gluten-free flour blend doesn't already have xanthan gum in it. I'm using my own gluten-free flour. It doesn't have xanthan gum in it, so I've got to make sure I add it. Next is the flavoring. I'm using almond extract and vanilla, but you can use just vanilla or really whatever you like. You don't measure vanilla with a spoon, you measure it with your heart. Alright, everything's all mixed up now, except for the flour. That's the last thing. But how you measure your flour when you're baking anytime, but especially when you're baking gluten-free, is super important. So let me show you how to do it. First, grab your flour, grab a spoon, and mix it. You want to make sure your flour is properly aerated and thoroughly combined, especially if it's one you've mixed yourself. Grab your measuring cup and spoon the flour into your measuring cup. This is super important. If you scoop it with your measuring cup, you're going to compact extra flour in to your measuring cup, and then you're going to have too much flour in your cookie recipe and they'll be dry and crumbly hockey buns. Once you get it leveled up, you're going to get a little tap just in case there are any huge air pockets, and then level it off. Mine has a leveler on it, which is amazing, but you can also use the back of your spoon or use a knife. And then dump it in. Spoon it in. Level it off. Dump it in. Mix the flour in on low speed so you don't make a cloud everywhere. Don't forget to scrape down the sides of your bowl. Give it another mix. That is what your dough should look like. Now we get a scoop and bake. Grab a baking sheet, and if you have one, a cookie scooper. Scoop your dough. To make sparkly sugar cookies in festive colors, take some sprinkles or some sanding sugar. This is red sanding sugar. Take one of your cookie dough scoops and give it a little roll around and pop it down. And we're going to do some green. You don't have to use colored sugar or even like fancy, bigger, chunky sugar. You can just use normal granulated sugar. But these are fun to use if you have them. Since we're making lazy gluten-free sugar cookies, instead of rolling them in sugar, you can just sprinkle some on top. they still get sparkles. Bake them about 350 for like 8 to 10 minutes, depending on your oven, and then they'll be perfect. This is what they look like when they come out of the oven. So these ones made big, and this is what they look like after chilling for an hour. And this is one of the green ones that did not chill. So you can see if you chill them for an hour in the freezer, after you scoop them out, it won't spread quite as far, but they still spread. These are cookies that are supposed to spread. They're supposed to be chewy and crispy and delicious. And they are delicious. Because I already ate one, I know. But they spread all pretty and they look sparkly. I also really like making small ones. They're cute. And just as tasty and a little bit more manageable size. So there you guys go. I hope you enjoy. But this one is warm in the oven. It's perfect. Crisp edges, really crispy, but like chewy, buttery. I just need a glass of milk. They're pretty amazing.